Morning, guys. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is blessed. It is the 21st of August, and this is your daily market outlook for today. Let's end the week strong and see if we can plan for next week. Understand the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my videos should be considered financial investment or trading advice. Trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. Understand any past performances discussed does not guarantee future results. You are responsible, as always, guys, for your own financial decisions. So, having a look at what is going on in the charts, let's start as we always do with the dollar. So we've gone into today. As you guys can see, we're just more bearishness. And of course, we've reached this area of demand. Now, when we reached this area of demand yesterday, you can see that the volume slowed down a lot. So I was expecting potentially today to have a little punch into this supply, and then we could look for shorts going into next week. But as we can see, currently market has started to dump lower. Now, if we go to the 4 hour. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Friday, red folder news, no red folder news at all. Hence why I jumped straight into the charts. So no red folder news at all today. But yeah, jumping into the 4 hour, you can pretty much just see, what's happened. We've obviously took out the high of yesterday's Asian. So we left the Asian high, we've taken that high there, and then we've had market distribution down, breaking this low. So we've got a new 4 hour range. Now, simply all I'll be expecting market to do is come and fill in some of these imbalances. Now, again, yes, this would be my preferred supply um, area, of course. So, we have imbalance below that, we have Asian high as well, and we have all the rest of this imbalance. So, ideally, from a technical standpoint, if market was to come into the supply and then obviously dump away, that would be clean. Understand also, as we just talked about, being in this daily demand area, if this market decided to start to get a bullishness from here and break above. That would align with obviously coming into, filling the rest of these imbalance that we do have. But as of right now, focusing on the 4 hour trend, you can see that from here, we obviously had lower high, and then we had a lower low, lower high, lower low. So pretty simple to understand. Let's see what happens for the rest of today. Euro USD daily time frame. What can we see? Well, pretty much the same scenario. You can see that market has obviously been bullish. We obviously yesterday and Wednesday, Wednesday was a huge candle. Wednesday we slowed down a lot inside of this daily supply. As you can see, this little trap area here. Let me just mark that out, which is still a little trap candle, little daily supply. But again, I'm not too sure we're going to get a reaction away from here. We'll have to wait and see. If we obviously do, we have this daily demand area and a load of imbalance to come and fill. Now, if we jump down to the 4, you can pretty much see that we just look left. That daily supply is where this 4 hour supply area is. That's that imbalance. If you just let me zoom in so you can see. You can see start at imbalance. That is where market currently is sat, which is a valid area, an untouched and unmitigated supply area. Are we going to get this supply area to move from here? Well, at this moment in time, it doesn't look like it. And the reason it doesn't look like it is because if you focus on the 4 hour trend, you can see that from here, you have higher high, higher low. We obviously have higher high or awful pullback. I wouldn't even class that to be fair as a higher low, but let's just see. Pullback here, and then we start to move away. So we're still in this structure, meaning from this high to this low. But what market has done is market's obviously this little minute internal structure here, which is more 1 hour. That's where market is basically reacting from this 4 hour. You can see that we have pullback, engulfing candle, pull back into this, and we've gone again. Predominantly, we see on the 1 hour, it's a little bit more clearer. We can see the start of that 1 hour imbalance here. And obviously, at the same time, taking out this Asian high, take out the Asian high, and then slowly started to get into that expansion phase. Now, again, is it the best setup? No, it's not. But it's just something that we've got to deal with at this moment in time. So for me, if I look at, this area, I would need to see a significant high break. So do you know how we have broken this low, this lower low with this candle and had a candle closure? We don't see the same on your USD. So if I'm going off the dollar and a dollar aligns, then of course we have this area here as a 4 hour demand. Let's move this back. And we have the imbalance just above. But again, this would have to make sense from a dollar perspective. So if market comes into here and we see market starts to slow down, then it'd be ideal for you guys to check where is the dollar at this moment in time. Meaning if the dollar is giving that reaction and that consolidation as if supply could carry on taking control from this area, then that could align with your USD and then obviously potentially going long. But if not, and we break this low, then pretty simple. This supply is in control, and we could look to continue some shorts to fill in this imbalance that we've left all down here. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. We have the Great British Pound US dollar, and let's just go to the daily. Daily time frame, again, we've been extremely bullish. We didn't come into this demand, and we also haven't come into this demand yet. We will eventually, because you know how it works. But at this moment in time, we are obviously just continuing bullish. We've had Wednesday, Thursday, and now Friday bullish. So again, I expect nothing to change at this moment in time from a daily. When we do get that daily, giving us some short, we have this imbalance here, this daily demand, and this is where market could potentially carry on upwards from the daily demand. Going into the 4 hour. Now, 4 hour, you can see that we didn't even come into this demand. We didn't come into this demand. So again, it's not been the nicest at this moment in time to trade GU because we've not been getting that mitigation, which is obviously annoying. Once we obviously move away from here and create a new high, we obviously print a new demand. I like to cover all this area of consolidation. We haven't again had the pullback into this. And what's happened here? Markets give this little mini pullback here. Didn't come into this as well, as you guys can see. That was from yesterday. We had this bullishness. Market failed to come into this demand, and now has carried on bullish again. We didn't also, which I was waiting for, because we've broken this previous high. I was wanting to see market come into here from a 4 hour. And as you guys can see, we haven't got that just yet. So again, could we still come into there and obviously trade? Well, yes, of course we could. But yeah, it's the majors are not the best at this moment in time. But we do have some imbalance left. We could use this as liquidity. But the only thing that I am wary of in these situations is it depends where the dollar is, of course. But I'm also wary of the fact that we have like this area that's not mitigated. We have equal lows, we have imbalance here. So just be aware of, it potentially coming lower into this demand if we obviously get that reaction. Now, again, let me look left to see if market is reacting from somewhere that we potentially do like. It will be in and around this area. For me, from a 4 hour, everything's pretty corrective here. There's no imbalances. So yeah. If we just jump down to the one, can I see anything a little bit different? Not necessarily. Again, that 4 hour here, you can see where market came in. That would have been ideal to obviously have this market move away. But at this moment in time, what I can see is Asian entry model 2. We've come into this area of 1 hour demand. Oh, 1 hour demand after breaking out of the Asian range. So at this moment in time, entry model 2 for Asian is what is playing out with GU. And to be fair, also EU. If you look at EU, we've had market breakout during London. Where does it come into? Well, this candle here as a 1 hour demand. Is it going to stick? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But if we carry on bullish, then Asian entry model 2 for EU and GU would have been perfect. But understand that the dollar is in this area of the demand. EU is obviously in this area of supply. GU isn't. GU isn't. NZUSD, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Daily time frame, extremely bullish today. As you guys can see, we printed this daily demand. Market hasn't pulled back into with that Thursday candle. And then obviously market for the Friday candle has been bullish as well. 4 hour time frame, 4 hours been okay, not the best. And what I mean by that is it's not been the best before today. So what I mean is, yes, we have this area of 4 hour demand as well that didn't get mitigated. So you can see this area, this area, this area, and all of these didn't get mitigated. NU is just not my favorite for, as you guys should know anyway, for the 4 hour with at this moment in time. We can see they had a mini pullback here and went bullish again. That's where marketers seem to got that next move from. So we had mini pullback, not a full one, went bullish, come back into this, filled in an imbalance, and then obviously now gone from there. So again, my scenario would be if I could see market come into this area potentially. We've got a lot of imbalance to fill. Again, it just depends where the dollar is. And if the dollar gets to that 4 hour supply and NU is in this demand, we could see NU carry on bullish from this demand area. So keep an eye out on that. If we just look at the 1 hour quickly, yeah, again, there's a lot of imbalance to fill. Yes, we've had this bullish candle, and yes, this is a demand area here from a 1 hour. But it just depends on what the dollar does. Let's say, for instance, oh, market comes into that and then carries on. Obviously, it's valid, but we do have just a lot of imbalance below this area. So just be aware of that if you guys are looking at trading an Asian entry model with obviously NZUSD. AUD/USD daily time frame. Again, we've finally broke out of this supply and we've now come into the supply area here, which we haven't yet mitigated. Now, as you can see, AU is very, very, very bullish, extremely bullish. We came into this demand almost, carried on bullish. We have a new demand area for AU. Ooh, pardon me, which is here. So yeah, we've got this supply and this demand. Instantly I'm thinking, is this supply gonna be the one that carries on bearish, taking out all these liquidity trend line, or do we just carry on with this trend and carry on bullish? So going into the four. You can see that obviously I had this trade from the 4 hour supply this week, which you guys will know from earlier on, which was a beauty. And then as you guys can see, I was waiting for this demand area, either one of these, to obviously try and long this because we are bullish, as you guys can see, and that was my priority. But we didn't quite get into this demand. You can see we didn't get in this demand, which meant obviously I'd not caught this next bullishness. So again, following on from the trend, you can see higher low, not really higher high, and a higher high here. But we did have um, this internal pullback, which means we have this area of demand, which hadn't or hasn't been mitigated, and then we have this area of demand here. I'm going to go off this body of the candle here. You can obviously, of course, mark out this area as your 4 hour demand. A lot of imbalance to fill. So at this moment in time, is there a trade idea for me to look at with AUD/USD? No, there's not. Ideally, I would like to see some sort of bearishness to fill in the imbalance and then go. That would be my area. But of course, are we just going to get a similar scenario to this or a similar scenario to this, where we don't get that full pullback into a demand and it reacts out of an imbalance, like this area and this area here. So let's see what AUD/USD does today. USD CAD, go to the daily, and you can see that with USD CAD, haven't tapped into the supply, created this new supply, haven't tapped into that yet. And obviously we're just melting away. So nothing really to discuss on a daily time frame. 4 hour though, what can we see? Well, if we just follow, you can see that market obviously pullback, didn't tap into the supply, but we melted it off. What did we do here? We had market obviously consolidate, slow down, but bearishness again, market pull into that supply and then melt away. I'm not going to come in here and say I caught this. I did miss this trade idea, which even if you just go off the bottom of here, you can see 20 pip stop. You can see currently would be nearly at 1 to 3. But yeah, I did not catch this. Um, I was not on the charts and did not set my alerts. So how stupid of me. So yeah, next scenario would just be if this carries on, can we come up into here? Very, very small supply area. Pardon me. Very small supply area, but we have a lot of imbalances as you can see below. Um, so let's see if market is nice to us and then carries on from here. Let's see. Nothing really to discuss on the one. If we go to USD CHF, what can we see? Well, we've reached this demand area finally. Um, reached this demand area. Now we're getting that Thursday candle bullish, Friday candle not just quite. We did react finally from this supply. Obviously, we was in here for ages, and then we had this bearishness, which has now printed, this area of supply on the daily. So my perfect scenario basically would be if we could get bullishness from this demand into this supply and then long-term supply area. This candle, as you can see, let me just remove this. This big large candle is telling me that selling volume is in. So I'm not 100% sure, of course. No one ever is, but I would, like I said, ideally like to see this filling that imbalance, tap into that supply, and then go and get that new daily lower low created, and then go from that bullishness to bearish. But again, let's not discount the fact that we're inside of this daily demand. If we jump into the 4, where's my demand area? There it is. Still got a lot of imbalance to fill as you guys can see, but the reaction from the daily demand is there. Um, So yeah, let's see. At this moment in time, if you look, we are consolidated. So for me personally, I'm not looking for a trade idea. I'm just being honest. Yes, we do have this area of demand. Oh, this area of demand, which is why market is slowing down. But I just don't like the fact that we've not had a full closure above these highs. So ideally, what I'm probably going to wait for is if market gives me another bullish reaction, we break above this higher high, then I will be looking for the next area. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just trying to be obviously careful, and if we can print a new daily demand for our demand from here, that would be amazing. So yeah, again, if we go to the 1 hour. If you go to the 1 hour, you can see that at this moment in time, it would align with that 4 hour analysis because we've taken out Asian low. So if we can take out Asian low, which we have, and then get that bullish reaction, again, it would be a perfect scenario to just carry on long in this. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Hopefully it does. So yeah, USD Japanese yen. You guys know my thoughts on USD Japanese yen. I think it is a slag. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. Hopefully it doesn't take me off again. Um, but yeah, I don't like it, so let's not discuss it. At this moment in time. I can show you some of the trades that I've been in and took this week. This one just missed my entry. Look at this. AUD card, absolutely fucking fuming. It seemed like it tapped in, but my obviously broker didn't tap me in to this 4 hour demand. Let's move on. We obviously have this one as well, sorry, which I actually am not gonna lie. I haven't taken this area just yet. I was expecting more of a pullback, but we haven't had that. It's been bullish. I also had a stop loss on this demand area. I seen that we built up a lot of liquidity. We left a lot of imbalance, and this was a demand area. I didn't go break even. We slowed down, as you can see, but then we just melted through. So I took a stop loss on AUD CHF and then a TP on Euro AUD, as you guys can see from this 4 hour demand area, which was just over 1 to 3. I'm still in this now. So yeah, currently done a 1 to 4. So I'll probably take profits or take more. I am at break even and I have took partials, so I'll probably take some more partials away from this. But looking at this, if we look at the daily, I know we don't really talk about um, these pairs, but we've reacted at this daily demand. It's going to be interesting because we are inside of this next daily demand with Euro AUD. If you jump down to the 4, you can see that we have what? We have this 4 hour demand area below. So ideally, I'm going to see how market reacts when we get to this 4 hour demand. But everything's worked out perfect because look, this demand area, which I deleted to make it cleaner, but you can see is where my why and where market give this bullish reaction away. So yeah, Euro AUD. Let's see what this plans out for the rest of this week and going into next week. But other than that, guys, as always, I appreciate every single one of you. I apologize for yesterday's non-upload, but I will see you guys on Monday. Have an amazing weekend. Take care and God bless.